Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Starting off with the DXY on the daily, nothing's changed. The count is a little different, as I've gone over before. I'm looking at an A, an A, an A, B, C. So I'm looking for a C down in here and then an A, B, C before we get the larger A, B, and a C. So we're looking for downside down to this 100 fib ideally, or at least to go and break this low. There was a sell on it in here. We're looking for that sell last week. It's more on the H1. H1 we've got 3 down now. So we have like W, X, Y. If you're not already in it, you got to wait for the X2 and you get into that wave Z down. AU become quite complicated as well. I was sort of looking for like 1, 2, 3 up in here, up to that 100 fib, and we get that A, B, C. That never went. So I'm looking at a more complex correction, like we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we can get like 1, 2, 3 in here, or it may turn into 5, a 3, 3, 5 structure. But I'm looking for a larger correction in here before we get that A, B, C up. The H4, we're waiting for a larger correction. We got a nice impulse down. I'm waiting for a correction. So it could be quite choppy for the next few weeks before I'd look for more downside. On the lower time frames, we got 5 down on the H1 with the bullish divergence. This was, I've been looking at this for an A, B, C in here. It's very deep. If I just zoom in a bit, it's more on the lower time frames, but you can see what I was looking for. I posted this in the group before non-farm payroll, and I got in here somewhere. It took off on non-farm payroll. I come back and I got out at break even. So I was looking for that A, a B, and a C up. It never really went. So there's really no clear direction in it now. You'd have to go right down onto the lower time frames. I dare say there might be a bull hidden in here somewhere on the M5 or something. You're really just scalping on the lower time frames. Yeah, so on the M5, this is the low, and we got a bull hidden here. So, we have like 1, 2, 3 down. If this low holds, well, you can look for a buy just to scalp. It's scalping. GU, there is still a chance, like I've mentioned. Well, I'm looking for that A, B, C. We've been looking on the lower time frames to see if this wave C is over. On the lower time frames, it hasn't, as I've suggested. And the reason for that is because we have that bull hidden there. So, been looking for another one up to go and break that top. If you get a buy, you definitely could look to buy this one. On the lower time frames, I was looking for like a little A, B, C in here before we get more downside. But there's really you have to be careful buying at this particular stage, because this is a bear hidden. We have a bear hidden here, so this still can give another one down and then give us bullish divergence in here before we get the one that goes. So you will have to be careful with the buy at this stage. Ideally, this just goes up, breaks this top, and then gives a correction. That's a more probable trade to go and break the top. Other than that, if you're taking a trade in here, which you can, but it's going to be a very risky trade, and Very risky trade at this stage. EU, we've been looking for this C up. This a B and a C up. This is turned more complex too. You know, we're sort of getting 1, 2, 3 up in here, and we got like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So do we get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for the 3, 3, 5 before we get the A, the larger B, and a C up? Well, it's possible. You know, very similar to AU. But this one's really taken off on the lower time frames at non-farm payroll. Made it take off, but we were looking for a buy in here, you know, last week. We're looking at this as corrective, and it's gone. So basically now, if you're not already on it, you're waiting for a correction. I'd be waiting for some sort of a correction. We want to see a correction in here. Ideally back to the 50-50 to give us good risk reward, but you know, whatever sort of correction it may turn expanding flat or running flat, regular flat, or just a regular ABC. We don't know what sort of correction we're going to get in here, but if you're going to get in this, you really need to wait for the correction, and that may take 2-3 days to get this correction. And having said that, this wave here still may not be over. You know, on the lower time frames, you may get a little bit more upside before we get that larger H1 correction. NU, this one really didn't play out at all. It's gone and broken this low here now. Well, I believe it has. I better double check that. No, it hasn't quite broken that low. So this low here still holds. So, you know, I was looking for that A, B, C. That never went. I was looking for a correction in here to buy, and it's really fallen over on the lower time frames. You know, there's more than likely more downside in it. We got this very impulsive structure here. We got the 1, 2, 3. We're waiting for a wave 4, and then I'd be looking for a wave 5. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this well, I mentioned this last week. If we get this wave 5 down, you know, more than likely it'll go and break that low. At this stage, you're really waiting for a correction. I mean, it's very the safest way to trade this is to wait for the time factor in this wave 2 over here in this wave 4. So there's quite a bit of a time factor there that you're pretty much just sitting on the sideline until you see a correction and that time factor complete, and then you start looking for a sell into that wave 5. Then I wouldn't be surprised if it does fall over, because, you know, we have a bear hidden here. So you got to be really careful with the buy at this stage. Yeah, just be mindful if you are looking for the buy. It may just be a C up, like you may just get a correction in here and a C up, like an A, B, C, and then, you know, it gives you that 5th one down. UI, like I've mentioned for a long time, you know, I've only been looking for sells, and this is why I've been waiting, you know, for this to happen, you know, this to fall over. We had all that bearish divergence. At this stage, you know, there is a bull hidden here. It's not valid to trade to go and break the top. I'm not going to go into that, but we do have a very nice impulse down. And if you go back through, you know, my recordings, you know, we're looking for a 50 fib retrace of this at least. So it's nearly got there in one move. But on the lower time frames, you know, you really have to wait for a correction. you know, and I'd be looking for some sort of a 50 fib retrace, you know, get some sort of a correction in here for an a B, and a C, or it may turn motive, you know, and give you 5 down. But really, we're waiting for this correction. We haven't got it yet. It's just kept on falling over, which isn't surprising. You know, I mean, this was the trade up here on the lower time frames to get into this, and I'm sure I did show that on the YouTube. There's still no bullish divergence on the H1, so more than likely there's still more downside in it. Really, I'd be waiting for a little correction in here, possibly up to the trend line, and then we get a bear hidden in here, bear hidden divergence, and we go and break the low again. So you could look for a correction in here next week, and then look for the sell just to go and break this low. And then, you know, if you got a nice impulse up, well, then you could start buying into the correction, or the A, B, looking to buy a C wave up before we get more downside. UY is very, very similar to GY. We've been waiting for a long time, you know, for this. I'm looking at this as the A, B, and we're getting this C down now. Again, it's like GY. You really have to wait for a correction. And yeah, then you could look for a sell. And this could take quite a while to give you that correction. Don't go selling down here, you know, very risky to go start selling at possibly an end of a move. There's no bullish divergence on the H1 either, so you're pretty much waiting. Very similar to GY. You know, I'd be waiting for a bear hidden in here. You know, you get some sort of a correction back up to the trend line, and more downside with a bear hidden. Yeah. You can. Um, it's still rising. You know, I would really like to go and see a break that top. I mean, it's not a wave Z like we were looking for over here. You know, this was looking really good, that WXY. X2, the time factor was virtually spot on, and we were looking for that wave Z up. It failed and didn't go and break the top, unfortunately. So all this has been very hard to trade. We've really just been going down onto the lower time frames to look for direction. On the H4, we identified this structure in here well in advance, and we were looking for this to take off. It still hasn't, even from last week, it still hasn't given us a correction. You know, I was looking for, you know, we may get a little correction in here to buy. But I mean, in the room, we were looking at this, you know, this bull hidden here. Oh, sorry, over here, there's a bull hidden. Well, we sort of got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up now. There's no bearish divergence, so you know, you can still look for buys. I wouldn't be up here, but you know, I'd be waiting for the larger correction and then looking for, you know, the A, B, and a C. Wait and see if we get a nice correction here, because this pair is very difficult to trade. As you can see, you know, that daily wave Z never went. This is a very long, drawn out, complex correction, 333. Yeah. And if you go back through my videos, you know, this was our buy in here. It was a perfect setup for us. It fit all our rules, and you know, so yeah, but that's well and truly gone. The Swissy has really fallen over. I've been looking for this A and been waiting for this wave B to look for a wave C up. Well, now it's really turned, very motive. It's really fallen over, as you can see. It may even go and break this low, or it's just going to be a very deep correction. But already this is probably down to the 78.6 fib retracement in here already, so even if this low doesn't get broken, I'd just be looking at it as an A, B, C at this stage now, instead of it possibly turning motive before, before it could have turned motive, but now it's more than likely just an A, B, C up, and it may turn into go and break this low and turn into a running flat, A, B, C, and then you get more downside. So really seeing how far this one goes on the lower time frame, we were looking for that wave Z down. Now we've lost all the, there's no bullish divergence there now. We've lost all that. So this wave Z's gone way further than I thought. So really now, all you can do is wait for a correction and sell. And more than likely, like the JPY pairs, more than likely we'll get a bear hidden in here and more downside. So you wait for a correction, see if you got that bear hidden, and yeah, then you can start to look for a sell. EG's gone. We've been expecting this. I've been, telling you all you guys about this, for a long time. We got that bullish divergence. Any bullish setup you get, we're looking for the buys, and it's finally taken off. And like I've mentioned, I might have to change this fib a little bit. Oh no, still at the low. So at the very least, I'm looking for a 50 fib retrace of all this. At the very least. So there is a lot of upside, potential upside in this. Even if it turns like corrective like this, for more downside, you should still be able to get quite a few pips in that. I mean, you've missed the first opportunity, which is what I showed a few weeks back. We're looking at this structure in here. This, I mean, this is more on the lower time frame. Actually, I will go down to the lower time frame to explain what happened here and how we still get in this. Well, we're looking at that A, this B, and we're just looking for a C up because of, how deep this went and all that. And we got that C up, and it went up to the 161.8. Then we had a bull hidden. So we were looking for another buy to go and break this top. Well, it's really taken off with the non-farm payroll. So really it does pay to learn what I'm trying to teach, and the only way you can really learn that is to join the group. It's probably the most value for money course out there. It's very comprehensive course that I teach, extremely comprehensive, and it goes over everything you need to know to make money and to identify high probability trades. WTI, this didn't go either. I was looking for like an A, a B, and a C. It gave us like 1, 2, 3 down in here, and I was sort of looking for. Then it gave us a buy in here, and I was looking for a correction for possibly another one up in here. And this turns complex, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you get 5 down or 3 down, and then you get the A, B, C. It's really falling further than I thought. Oh, whoops! It should be on another time frame. It doesn't really matter, but even on H4, we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. We got the bear hidden here for that 5th one down. Now you pretty much it can either go and break the top, or we get a 50 pip retrace of this. So we're looking for buys. We're starting to get that bullish divergence. Of course, you've got to wait for this wave to be over. On the lower time frames, it may not be over yet. But when this is over, we'll be looking for a buy. There is no, there definitely isn't a buy setup on it, and more than likely, it's got more downside. If we go down to the M15 quickly, we got like 1, 2, 3. We'll get a wave 4 in here and a wave 5, and we get a bear hidden in here. If you get a bear hidden in here, you can scalp that down and go and break that low. And then if you get a nice impulse up, a bullish correction and a bullish entry, you can buy to go and break the top. Well, back to that 50 fib at least, Gold right up the top of the market, and it hit our first target. It took a while to do it, looking at that WXYX2, and we're waiting for this wave Z up. It got up to the first target. We had a lot of messing around in here. But like I mentioned last week, I said more than likely we'll get more upside. Why? Because we had this bull hidden here. We had that 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for that wave 5 to go and break that top. It hasn't quite broken the top, but if you got in, if there was a buy set up in here on the lower time frames, if you got in that, well, you're still at worst, it's break even if it falls over from here, at worst. And more than likely, there's still another one up in here. We got some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can still get another one up in here, and this is some sort of a flat here, a larger flat. It's a little bit larger correction than this one, but we have a bull hidden in here too. So, this can go up and break that top still. So you have to be careful with the sells at this particular time. Yeah. Silver is very similar, but this one didn't give us a fifth one up, like I've mentioned. We got that like 1, 2, 3, waiting for a wave 4 and a wave 5 up in here. It never went. Never went and broke the top. Unfortunately. If you remember, we had this big correction in here, and we were looking at this correction in here. I went over this last week. We had that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we got that A, B, C. So we identified this structure as being complete up here, and this is your sell up here to sell that. At this stage, it still is a sell. Very risky buy at this stage because, again, we have a possible bear hidden, and this can go and break that low before, we get any possible upside. So, yeah. Take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't give us that wave Z up either. We're looking at that 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for that fifth one up. It never went broke the ending point of wave Y. Never got anywhere near our 2 targets that I was targeting. Instead, it's turned into a larger correction in here. It's more of a buy. Well, it's not. It's actually a sell, because we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in here with a bearish divergence. We got an impulse down. So if you wait for a correction, if this turns out to be looking very corrective, well, it's a sell to go and break this low. But looking at the larger structure, this is still all looking very much bullish. All this here is still looking very much bullish. So, even if it does come down, break that low, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually this top gets broken. very similar to gold. You know, it took a while for gold to go and break the top. You know, and silver for that matter. Silver still hadn't broken the top either. You know, and of course this one hadn't either yet. S&P, we've been looking for the sell. I've been, telling you guys, I'm only looking for sells. We got that. Excuse me. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4 extended wave 5 or wave Z, whichever way you want to look at it. And again on the H4, like I said last week, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wave extended wave Z on the H4 as well. There were sell opportunities in this more than likely. If you got into this one, you would have been taken out, obviously. It did hit the target, though, on the lower time frames we were looking at. We're looking at this A, B, C to come down and break that low. To hit that 100 pip target. It done that. Then it's given a larger correction. In the group, we were looking at this, like this A, B, C in here, and then an A, B, C. This did go a little bit further than I thought it would. I thought it would just come up and break these tops and then fall over. It went a little bit further, but that's no worries, it still went and broke the low. It's a sell. It's still a sell, but you have to wait for a correction. You got to wait for a correction in here. And then once you see a complete correction in here and a sell set up, sell entry, you can go and look to sell to break the low. And of course, this is, we can get a really big move here because, like I've mentioned many times, we are looking for a 50 fib retrace of all this. So back to here. So there is quite a bit of room down. AU 200. Like I mentioned last week, I'm looking for this. We had that 1, 2, 3 up. It actually, it was staying around this 100 fib, our first target, for quite a while, and it did shoot up to the 123.6. I'm still just looking for sells at this stage. Now we got a perfect opportunity for a sell, and this will be a really nice sell if you get on it. Like many of the others, we got a nice impulse down. We're waiting for a correction in here, and we'll look to sell. And this in here can turn motive or impulsive. So, wait for this correction and then look for the sell. What's happening on the FTSE? This one did break out, was looking very bullish in here. It never went up and broke the top. Still an opportunity to buy this. This can be a flat. It doesn't really look nice. Doesn't really look nice because the price action doesn't look nice. We got an impulse up. That looks quite impulsive, and that looks impulsive, and even this looks impulsive. So this may turn quite complex, and we get a correction in here for 3 down. We get 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. There's some sort of a flat. 1, 2, 3. It can turn quite complex now. Unfortunately, we got that nice impulse up, and we were looking for a correction in here to buy. It doesn't look like it. Well, I mean, it went up and broke the top. But this doesn't look really corrective. Looks more impulsive. Like this looks impulsive. That looks impulsive. That looks impulsive. It sort of stuck around up here for a while. There's bearish divergence there. It's a sell now. You really have to wait for a correction, like I showed on the higher time frame. Wait for a correction in here, and you may get a sell in here. Whether it goes and breaks that low or not, well, that's to be seen. But in my opinion, it's a sell. On the shorter time frames, it's a sell. You wait for a correction in here and at least get a C down, and you never know, it may turn motive for you because of where you are on the higher time frames right at the top. Take a look at the DAX. You know, we had that. Well, this was looking very bullish still, and we had that bull hidden in here. There was a bearish divergence. We got a deep pullback, and it's fallen over. I'm not really surprised this has fallen over. Yeah, it's a sell, and you pretty much missed the sell. If you're looking for the sell, you pretty much missed it because you sort of got like impulse down A, B, C, and you're getting 3 down now. 1, 2, 3. You got to wait for that wave 4, and then you look for that wave 5 down. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.